were stopping any obstruction.
Just let me finish. So everyone's going about to protest. Obviously, there's peaceful protest, and then just being an unpeaceful protest. Obviously, you.
So this copyright, this is where I am with this whole thing now, right? I've been reading a lot of legislation and a lot of different acts and a lot of ways how MPs write acts of law and how MPs mislead and trick people and then insert clauses and recognition within detailed lines of acts of law, which basically writes off the entire act. And this occurs in numerous acts, particularly around the broadcasting rules. You know, like MPs aren't supposed to be, on TV presenting and so forth. Also, in many other acts as well, even like in the Local Referendums and Petitions Act. So they're basically kind of lying. And what it always comes down to is what they're doing is they're writing these acts and then basically they put in a line that basically says that if you claim or use a certain right, then effectively that has effect. And what that effect of that right does literally can write off the entire act, because it's saying that you can't be held liable to it and you're not held to a commitment by it. But the thing is, they know they're doing this because they do it multiple times. And it's all about, therefore, if you know what the law is and if you make a claim, and if you don't, then it's almost like you comply with the act unless you know better or you know wiser or you know more. Also, some things about juries, the fact that, juries, like with the M.E.T case, juries can just, decide whatever they want, right? Which basically means they can disregard the law. And also, when you're petitioning the council and, they're saying, you can only, you can object on this point or that point or the other point. Well, you don't have to object on any points other than the fact that you don't like or want something. And if enough people support it, then, they're opposing it. You're either opposing it or you're not, Now, the thing about these two jokers here, these two policemen, and the whole kind of all the legislation that's been put through at the moment by Sunak, Braverman, Patel and so forth, and all these new, policing bill and so forth, and then all the new wokery, all the new woke sort of laws, like peaceful protesting, what's unpeaceful protesting, and then what is, all this standing outside, abortion clinics, not even doing anything wrong, but you're not even, people getting arrested just for being outside them, and all this, all that stuff, and all the stuff at Gay Pride, and all these people getting arrested just for having a flag in their possession, or it could be offensive or not offensive or whatever. It's the way that these police officers now are talking it, the way they're selling it to the public, and the way they've been trained by police college, and the way that they are conducting themselves on the streets, and what's coming out of their mouths now, like in this little scenario we've got in front of us here, right? There's no such thing as, there is peaceful and unpeaceful protest, but by the time they've kind of like, at the end of the day, right, if you had just stood on the street doing nothing, right, and not even breaking a law, if you're just walking on the pavement or stood on the pavement, right, it's not illegal to stand on the pavement with a sign or notice, not even doing a protest or petition or anything. The sign could say, I've lost my cat, or do you want a bag of chips? Or it could just say Adidas, or it could say anything on it, right? Now, if you've got something that is illegal, like a sign that is harassing someone or whatever, fair enough. But this is how the deal is supposed to work, right? When you're doing this, the right to petition using enactment of law, right? The deal is that you yourself can't be prosecuted and you can't be jailed. Now, that means that you would only be jailed or prosecuted if you were doing something illegal. Because if you were doing nothing, if you weren't doing anything at all, nothing, right? Then why would you be arrested? You wouldn't be arrested if you weren't doing anything. So all this being somewhere and being peaceful, you got nothing to be arrested for anyway. Now, why would you need any enactment which protected you from being prosecuted if you weren't doing something illegal? So the fact that, there's no point having any rights if you're not doing anything illegal, because you don't need a right. You don't need a right if you're not doing anything wrong. That's the thing, because it's you aren't actually doing anything. The thing is, if you're walking down the pavement going to work, you're not taking part in a protest. But the protest itself isn't illegal anyway, right? So you wouldn't need to be prosecuted for protesting. And even before the right to petition, immunity, it still wasn't legal to do protesting. But what happened is they started making up they started prosecuting people for all manner of things, like just being in your house and having meetings and talking about certain things. They brought the immunity in so you couldn't get prosecuted or arrested. But now what they're doing is they're trying to say you can't do this and you can't do that. You can't have a flag here or there, or you can protest but it can't upset anyone, or it can't be loud or noisy and so forth and so forth. So effectively, we're back to the same place we were before the Glorious Revolution, when they were prosecuting people for whatever things they started to come out with, like, you can't have meetings in private houses, you can't, you can't even, complain about religious things because it might be anti-Semitic or whatever it is, So we've got to the stage now with the stage that we're at before that 1688 bill was done, because Parliament are conjuring up a load of rubbish, basically, and trying to make out, this thing you can't do, that thing you can't do, but you can when it's for a political case. Now, the situation is that the thing with the police, right, is this. When the police are enforcing the law, right, they are pursuing a case against people. Now, have you heard of the term peaceful policing, right? Have you heard of the term peaceful policing versus non-peaceful policing? So, could you imagine, could you sell this to the Met police chief, right? Mark Rowley. We're sick of unpeaceful policing, and we've decided that if you engage in unpeaceful policing, it could be illegal, right? So, what would peaceful policing look like? Well, it would look like them not arresting anyone or charging them, because peaceful police officers do not take legal actions against anyone. They police peacefully, not unpeacefully, right? They don't break the law, right? So police officers, peaceful policing is not breaking the law. They don't break into people's houses. They don't kick doors down. They don't grab hold of people and touch them. They don't put handcuffs on people. They don't hit them with truncheons. Peaceful policing. They negotiate, they talk, they don't arrest people, they don't put them in prison, they don't take them in court and put them through traumatic experiences. Peaceful policing. versus non-peaceful policing, because non-peaceful policing could be illegal. We could be harassing someone. You can't grab my hands and put handcuffs on me. This is causing me distress. That's illegal, right? Well, then the police chief will say, no, I've got the right to do that. Well, where the fuck's your right to do it? Where the fuck is your right to do unpeaceful policing? Well, then Mark Rowley will say, well, the law allows me to do it. Well, what fucking law? Well, the Criminal Law Act 1967, or he'll reel them all off. Oh, it exists. There is. Look, read it and weep. Read it and weep. I am a police officer. If it would hinder the progress of the vehicle of the purpose of which it's been used, I'd have to observe any speed limits. The sky's the limit. Oh, I see what it says on the paper. Right. Well, Mr. Rowley says here that we cannot be prosecuted either because we are in pursuit of policing the policies that we are putting through, which might very well be a new policy for peaceful policing. Why don't you police peacefully? Try that. So, peaceful protesting is kind of joke because you are using an enactment in law which does something and doesn't do nothing, right? And it does something to everything. Now, what's happening is the police and government ministers have started to talk absolute tosh, the most absolute contradictive tosh that you could ever talk in your entire life. And they are misconstruing the law. And you only need to look at the law that the government are actually enacting, which literally contradicts itself and writes itself off. We've got a problem. We need a new paradigm for law and order. And I don't think the future can be handcuffs, truncheons, tasers, guns, bulletproof vests, cells. It has to be a community, kind of more of a family assistance, nursing, sort of help centre. Go somewhere if you've got a problem. You got a problem, I'll solved it. Step up the bass while my DJ performs it. It's got to be a place you can go to solve problems. How can we help you today? What's wrong? What's matter? Go to the doctor's surgery. It needs to be more like a doctor's surgery. The police station needs to be more like a surgery for what's wrong with your family. How can we help you? Right? Rather than, what can I do you for? It needs to be peaceful policing because if there's no such thing as, there is no peaceful or peaceful protesting. Because what it comes down to is this, right? When you got a building site, right? A building site, you've got loads of construction vehicles and builders there, right? And they turn up at 7:30, right? And if they turn up before 7:30 and making noise, then they're not allowed. But if they turn up after 7:30 and, are there till whatever it is, 5:30, they can make as much noise as they want as long as it's not over a exact specific decibel volume, right? If you get an instrument out and measure that noise and it's got, a number, if it's under a certain number on a sound measure, then no, they won't do anything. But if it's under that volume, then they can do what the hell they want, right? Now, if they're next to your house or down the street and you beep, 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 and if it's driving you absolutely fucking insane in the membrane, right? Tough. You can't stop them. As long as it's not over what the government say is a specific volume, right? Right, that noise can be harassing you to fucking Kingdom Come. It can be actually driving you fucking insane. Day after day after day after day after month after month after month after year. And still going on. Beep, 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 beep. Round the police chief's office. Beep, beep, beep. Round the police chief's eardrum. Beep, beep, beep. And you can't stop that noise. Beep, beep, beep. But it's not illegal. It's not illegal. They can do it. Why? Because you can't stop them. Because they've got a planning permission from the government that gives them the legal right to harass the living daylights out of you. Right? But yet, if you turn up protesting and these two monkeys come along and they're like, oh, well, you can peaceful protest, but, if it's too loud, it's breaking the peace. Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? If the right to petition doesn't give you more protection, with all prosecutions are illegal, yes, every single fucking one of them that you can think of, if you cannot make more noise than a building site that ain't even claiming any political right, but these two monkeys come along and say you're breaking the peace, you've got to be having an absolute laugh. Peaceful protesting versus unpeaceful protesting. Oh, it's some peaceful building work going on here. Excuse me, your fucking vehicles are annoying the hell out of you, driving me insane. I've got a doctor's note even here, not to be disturbed, but they're disturbing me. Oh, I'm sorry, we've got to get this built and finished. Well, could you stop for 4 hours? I'll come back tomorrow. No, we've got. This is the thing. Have you ever heard of peaceful building versus non-peaceful building? What we've got is a pack of jokers who are coming out with the most absolute legal fraud and lies that I've ever witnessed in my entire life on this planet, right? And they're just men and women who, not to say that all police are because some police came around the other day to see if I was okay, to see if I was all right. They were very polite, right? Because I've actually been harassed by loads of building work. But now talking about these two guys here in this video, right? Mark Rowley and the London police, they've got problems because they've got ministers who are making illegal legislation and contradictive legislation, right? And they will not take the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service won't prosecute them because they're up Starmer's rear end because he was leading the CPS. They could take legal action. They could try because, they've been arresting some MPs for possessing drugs and so forth, right? They won't prosecute them for fraud. They won't prosecute them for perverting the course of justice or treason or anything like that. Yet, there's an act of law here. It says blah, 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 regulation, and then, clause, blah, 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 next clause. By the way, this clause writes off the entire fucking act if you so claim it and recognise it. And that, you know what clause it is, and you know what right it is, you know what enactment it is, you know exactly what clause it is, you know exactly what enactment it is, right? And this is the thing. It's all about whether you call it or not. And the problem is that I'm getting kind of sick of the absolute, complete and total bollocks from this government and bollocks from this police force. They're just making it up as they go along. And it's time, people start challenging are you doing peaceful policing or non-peaceful policing? Because if we can't do anything than something that you could do even if you weren't using the right, Because the police are now starting to treat it as if you haven't even got a right, there is no right, and you're just doing something that is normal, right, within the law, when you don't need the right to do something that you're protected from the police. So they're trying to negotiate it in a way with the public that they're trying to convince them that they don't have any special right or privilege, right? But yet the police are throwing themselves around like they do and they have when they don't. Not when it comes to political things. They need to go, no, is it a peaceful protest or non-peaceful? Well, no, this is a political action. Like, go do something else. Go attend someone who's not doing a political action. Like, a baker, butcher, candlestick maker, whoever. Someone who is not engaged in political casework of any kind whatsoever. There is no such thing as peaceful or non-peaceful, unless you want to start saying the peaceful policing. Are you doing peaceful policing? Are you doing peaceful policing? Well, do you mind putting that taser down? Is that a taser in your pocket? Like, oh, hello, sir. Where are you going with that kitchen knife? That could be used as a weapon. Well, actually, I'm going to cut some cake. Oh, really? Well, I have reason to believe that you may. I am going to arrest you. We're going to arrest you under suspicion, carrying an offensive weapon. Well, what's that taser doing on your belt? Are you intending to use that taser? Well, I'm licensed to use it if the needs be. Well, that's not peaceful policing, though, is it? It's non-peaceful policing. If you use a taser, that's non-peaceful policing. If you don't use a taser, then it's peaceful policing. But, well, I'm licensed to use it. Well, I'm licensed to make some noise. I'm licensed to make some noise. Just one cornetto, give it to me. I want Rishi Sunak to legalize, singing in the street. This is it. There's no such thing as unpeaceful protesting or peaceful protesting, because it's protesting and it's protected. So all this, if it's not peaceful protesting, you might be breaking the peace. So Rishi Sunak's new laws. Yes, Rishi Sunak's new bollocks laws, bullshit laws, like the laws for local elections, petitions and referendums. Look, it's an entire act here. You can't do this, you can't do that, this, that. Oh, look there, it writes the whole fucking thing off. By the way, in clause 3.7 renders this act completely fucking null and void. So smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. Time and time again, it's starting to get to the point that I think that Rowley is starting to realise that it's just a circus. And these ministers, look at the Bill of Rights, the enactment we're using. It's not about us. What is the opening part about? What is it for? To protect us. From who? Oh, here are the characters. Judges, ministers, councillors. They're the bad ones in all this. They're the ones who are doing naughty things. Evil. Breaking the law, subverting the rights and liberties of the realm. And now there's a load of clauses to protect us from them and pursue getting the issues remedied. I don't see Mark Rowley trying to remedy the issues because the legislation's wrong. The new legislation they're making, they can't make it because it's not compatible. Oh, why don't you do something then, Mark Rowley, about these ministers? There's peaceful lawmaking and unpeaceful lawmaking. There's sensical lawmaking and nonsensical lawmaking. This is the problem. And, the same with the whole jury thing. Judges misleading the jury. Oh, this is what the law says, but, don't vote with your conscience. Well, actually, I couldn't give a tiddlywinks about my conscience. I completely support these actions that these people are doing. I'm very much behind them all. I completely agree with them. Not guilty. That's it. Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. This is it. And like I said, we're back. It's like we're back in 1688 again, because we've got these ministers. They are the problem, not people in the street making noise. But the only action we see the police doing is, if they've got some drugs on them, or if they get drunk and headbutt someone or something like that, not for anything. Because they're protected, or are they? But we're meant to be protected, but now you're saying we're breaking the peace. They won't touch Starmer. They won't touch Sunak. Until Mark Rowley. He's not even trying, though, because they're his masters. He won't even try against his masters, and the CPS won't. But we're trying, and we're trying with rights. And, the police know how difficult it is to catch real criminals. So now we can see how difficult it is to catch real criminals when we're trying to catch the real criminals. The evil ministers and councillors doing deals with the corporate elite, the corporate construction, the corporate contractors who are cheating the rules, cheating the law, making money out of everyone, the taxpayer, conning us. And we're enforcing the pursuit of those persons, first by protecting ourselves. And this is the thing. When the police are doing peaceful policing, but then they suddenly decide, we need to do unpeaceful policing now. We need to get the taser out, the truncheon, the handcuffs. Now we're going to move into unpeaceful policing. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. We've tried being Mr. Nice Guy. Now we're going to use the legislation. Now we're going to use the law. Out comes the truncheon. This is it. So what they're actually doing is, now we're going to use some lines of legislation. Now we're trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. Now I'm going to get the truncheon out. Now we're going to kick the door down. Now this is it. So they're moving into, unpeaceful policing. And this is the thing with us, we tried writing letters to the government. We tried complaining to Ofcom. We tried complaining to the Advertising Standards Agency. We tried complaining to the Department of Transport. We've tried that now. We tried doing peaceful protesting. Well, I'm sorry. Now we'll have to get the noise out. Now we'll have to raise our voices a bit. We'll have to get some signs out, some flags, We'll have to get some flags out now. We'll have to use the lines of legislation. We don't want this ULEZ. No one wants this ULEZ. We've had enough of it. In fact, this ULEZ is causing us damage, financial damage in fines. We're getting fined by this ULEZ. We need to take action to stop it. Oh, there's a person getting beaten up in the middle of the road there. Bang, one punch. Bang, another punch. Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm doing some peaceful policing here. Would you care to stop punching the old lady repeatedly in the face? You look to be hurting her. Bang, 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 another fine. Bang, another fine. Bang, another fine. Right. Okay, we've had enough peaceful policing now. I'm going to actually use some force. I'm going to actually use my lines of legislation now and grab hold of your physical body and restrain you. And I'm going to put the handcuffs on. Oh, now I'm using the law. Now I'm not going to do Mr. Nice Guy. Now I'm using the force, right? Excuse me, Mr. Sunak and Mr. Sadiq Khan. These fines are hurting my wallet. Ouch! 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 Excuse me, Mr. Sadiq Khan. Could you stop? You're hurting my wallet. You're hurting my wallet, Mr. Sadiq Khan. Ouch! Ouch! You've hit it again. I don't like this. It's hurting me. Ouch! My wallet. Ouch! My wallet, Mr. Khan. Right. I've wrote you several letters, but you're not responding. You're not doing anything about it. Ow! Ow, my wallet! Ow! Ow, my wallet! Ouch! 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 My wallet! Oh, there's an old lady. Bang! In the face! Bang! Excuse me, I'm doing peaceful policing. Would you mind stop hitting the old lady in the face? It's not working, is it? We're going to have to use some lines of legislation now to stop the wallets getting hit in order for us to then, once we stop the man punching the old lady, which is the first priority, then we can take him through the legal process to court and get the whole thing sorted out. Once we've stopped our wallets getting hit and got control of the situation, then we can pursue the debate and the actions for ceasing the whole thing. I'm not sure if Mark Rowley quite understands what policing policies is when you are pursuing cease and desist. And that is where we are with it with the law. And that goes for, chopping trees down and stuff like that as well. That's how I see it and read it. And the problem with Rowley is that he knows that the politicians are writing legislation which cancels itself out, which contradicts itself, and which is not in line with statute law, because he knows that politicians have to try and con people. And the problem is that he is, being their lapdog. He won't even try them. He won't try to take legal action against them. Because, unless, they're, in going out for a drink in the pub and, getting rowdy or something, it's fully protected. It's fully protected. Oh, is it? This is the thing. Well, if we're not fully protected, then they're not fully protected because it's the same thing. It's the same right. And the only difference is that they are elected full-time and we are doing part-time voluntary. So this is the thing. Rowley needs to take a reality check because, at the end of the day, peaceful protesting and unpeaceful protesting, it's not a standing army and no one's armed unless they turn up with, rolling pins, but what if they all say they're off to watch British Bake Off, If everyone turns up with rolling pins, we're going to watch the British Bake Off. There's 100 people walking down the street with rolling pins, Oh, I'm sorry, it could be considered as a dangerous weapon. We'll have to arrest you. No, we're going into we're off into it's a political march. We're anti-baking. This is an anti-baking march. No, it's not a standing army. So we, first, we have to stop the old lady getting punched in the face, stop the damage before we continue with the rest of the legal case. They have to stop the damage in order to pursue continuing with the case, or else people continue to get injured financially by the fines, right? That's not a standing army. That's not attacking the government, turning up with AK-57s or all coming out with kitchen knives, maybe, that could be, that's a standing army. Not actually, have we got an objective here? Yes, we need to, we will, stop any further damage from occurring and then lawfully pursue the case through proceedings, which I'm sure Mr. Khan will be happy to engage in, once we secure the old lady from any further damage, and we secure these people's wallets from any further fines while we pursue the matter, seeing though that there is a very large section of the public, a large section of the public at large who wishes to press the matter through lawful legal action, of which part is suspending damages until a resolution has been sought. Same with the lady's face and a fist. I don't think Rowley understands what enforcement is when someone deems that something should cease and desist, and not criminal or civil, but in lawmaking. This should not happen anymore. We don't want this to continue, you know. It's almost like, you know, how could you use this example with tampon tax? I mean, what happens, you know, when, you know, 20,000 women turn up with used tampons? Is that a health hazard? You know, they're not weapons. If they just, you know, get them out of their bags, you know, is Rowley going to say, you know, that's gross, that's disgusting, that's a health hazard? You know, is there a crime of, you know, being in possession of a used tampon? It could be exposure. You know, if you did get 20,000 women turning up in London and, you know, pulling a used tampon out of their handbag, I don't think that a tampon is an offensive weapon. It was intent to cause, you know, ill health, but what ill health? You know, is there any particular, is an offence to, threaten someone with thrush? You know, I mean, this is the thing. Breaking the peace. But then again, you know, you could probably find more germs on the pavement in chewing gum. This is the thing, you know. It's when all these laws were written and enacted, the public were the police. There's different levels of policing, and these white shirt wearing, taser carrying, handcuff wearing, new model army of law enforcement is one way of doing it. Well, it's a new way of doing it. They're all trained, but they themselves have got themselves a political party. They've got themselves a section of the public who all have a certain belief system that is, they are an army, really, because they're under rank and file of command. And when it comes to law enforcement, particularly by letter of the law, yes, there is quite a lot of police legislation which includes ranking officers and chiefs and so forth directing things. But if you're not a member of the police force, if you're just using the legislation, if the whole term freelance actually means something. The term freelance means that you're free from a commander if you're freelance, because, you know, it's to say you're free except for the letter of the law, you know. And it's the same thing with private prosecutions. If you're a private prosecutor, you don't have to answer to a chief prosecutor or the attorney general, you know, because unless they take the case off you, which they can take control over the case, but if they don't, you make the decisions up. You don't have to ask permission. This is freelance. And the thing with policing is that it used to be freelance. Policing actually used to be freelance. So the modern police force has really hijacked freelance policing. But the thing is, political cases aren't even criminal cases. It's another legal process which is altogether different. But you need to use analogies in order to give example of that. And one of the examples is, what's the damage? The thing is, with criminal law, with the whole criminal law procedures, they are acting to stop things which is written that can and can't be done, or shouldn't be done. They're enforcing the policies what have been written down on paper. That's all the police are doing. The police are literally kind of a little bit like Bible bashers, Bible bashers, they say, oh, Jesus said this, Jesus said that, and if you don't do it, you're a sinner. The police are very similar in a way to these, when you used to get those religious fanatics in the town centre who would, say, oh, you're all going to hell, or, repent, because they've got a book. And when you've got a book, everything's written down and you've got to do what it says in the book. And if people aren't doing what it says in the book, then you've got to stop them doing what it says they can't do. In this other legal process, which exists, political casework level, is entirely different, because you are writing the book. You are in pursuit of writing what's down in the book, pursuing to get it written in the book, or get the book changed that the police are going by. And your case is that this should be in the book, or that should be in the book, or the book shouldn't say this, or the book shouldn't say that. And when you believe that it doesn't say people are getting hurt, but you think that it's hurting people and it should say that, and we're pursuing that, then what you're doing is you are pursuing a legal case to get, like the police are, from a magistrate or a judge, right? A genuine legal process. But the thing with the police is, it's already written down that someone can't do this or can't do that. But they're not just going to go to the court to get that person punished. They need to stop that person doing what they're doing wrong in the book, which is like, if it's smashing someone in the face, they've got to prevent, they need to, restrain them from doing it. When it's political, you've identified something that maybe should be in that book, or something that's changed that is harming or hurting people that you believe. That's really why you've got this immunity, because if you've got a section of the public at large that want that to stop, they can really stop it, at least while they're pursuing the case legitimately. And if they get the wrong verdict back or the wrong decision, what happens if more people join in, and then the numbers of the public concern increases, a greater public concern. You see, you got this threshold number where if you get 3 million, a certain percentage of the public, then you are overriding the ministers, because that's what the jury are doing, regardless of what the rule of law is. And that is with the local referendum. You elect the councillors with so many votes, right? Once you start getting certain numbers, you're exceeding the numbers that the power that the councillors get elected on, and you're overriding the council, right? And that's the same thing with national referendum. So if you didn't get the verdict you want, but if more and more people are joining in, then it's a growing concern. And short of even the ministers, saying, "Oh, well, we're still not going to do it about it. We said we're not going to do it about it." If the numbers start increasing and don't, go the other way, reduce, then they're going towards being overridden. The overriding objectives of the section of the public, in pursuit of this, once it reaches a critical level, like 3% of the population, they're going to compel the ministers to give up their elected powers and hand that decision-making power ultimately to the people who elected them, because it's important enough for the public to have a vote on that. Takes more precedence than the votes that they elected the people. Oh, it's very important to elect Rees-Mogg. Well, it was very important to elect Rees-Mogg, but for tampons, apparently, I'm sorry, but, tampons are more priority than Mogg himself. The tampons have become more of a priority to the public than Jacob Rees-Mogg himself. Tampons compel them. The subject of tampons, it's like, the Beatles are bigger than God. Tampons are bigger than Rees-Mogg. The public are concerned about tampons. Mogg, I'm sorry, but you'll have to step aside, because, it's like AI to Elon Musk. Oh, it's, all these fans here with Elon Musk, but you know what really excites me? AI, artificial intelligence, toys, gadgets. That's what really excites Elon. Gadgets. These people are exciting me. Fuck people. AI. Well, Mr. Mogg, 1,000, 2,000 signatures, and you're elected into government. Well, there's, 20, there's 3 million signatures here, Mr. Mogg. I'm sorry, but Rees-Mogg doesn't excite people anymore. It's tampons excite people. Everybody's concerned about tampons, Mogg. Fuck the fucking MP. MP's yesterday's news. It's like the new androids. Oh, look, a new robot dog. Forget the police chief. Forget Mark Rowley. Now we've got RoboCop. Mark Rowley. Oh, let's select a new chief commissioner, a new police chief. Mark Rowley, 5,000 votes. RoboCop, 10 million votes. So I'm sorry, Rowley. You've been preceded by the android. You can step into retirement. This is it. This is where it's going. And I don't think that, when things start to, concern the public, then, this is it. Importance. Short of, standing armies. The thing is, people are actually calling for action. If they weren't, it's not like they're not asking them to, end the ULEZ cameras, but they are. They are asking them to end the ULEZ cameras, and they're making multiple representations. They've sent multiple letters. Don't think Khan's getting the message. Oh, we tried sending the letters in. We tried sending the complaints. No more, no more Mr. Nice Guy. We tried doing polite. It's peaceful policing, peaceful policing. But this is the thing, now, there's no such thing as peaceful policing, we just do whatever needs to be done. Well, that's it.